in life, well, this woman was molested twice as a young girl. So she never got help, she never got healing, and she never got support from that. So mentally, she didn't know how to deal with it. And the only way she dealt with her trauma was turn to drugs. Unfortunately, her coping mechanism, thank you, with dealing with her addiction turned into now she is passing trauma on to her kids.
Yeah.
So I speak on a lot of those things. Exactly.
Yes. Which brings me to my motherfucking question of the day. All right. So today, it's funny. I had a chance to speak to one of my friends, and I couldn't understand why he was always so angry. Just because you want something doesn't mean that you're in that position to get it. Mm-hmm. So I was just trying to find out, like, why are you so angry? Like, how is it that I can help you? How is it that we can get beyond where we're trying to go if you're so angry? Mm-hmm. Because I can't have the conversation with you if you're angry, you're mad, you're cussing, you're doing all of that. I can't have that type of conversation. You may be able to communicate like that. I can't. So calm down, like let's get it out, let's say whatever it is or whatever. So he just kept on yelling. I was like, listen, I just can't do this. So, hey love, I can't do this. So we're gonna have to cut this short because I can't go any further because I don't want to be that bitchy person that I can be and return the aggression. Right. I just don't want to do it. It's not productive. It's really early. So I put a post on my Facebook and
you have so many of them. Which one is this?
so many of them.
Thank you. My page is for in edutainment. Mm-hmm. Yes. So the post said that hurt men are worse than hurt women.
I see that.
Gather your thoughts. And this post had almost 200 comments in an hour or less. Now, my whole thing is I seem to keep coming across hurt men. Mm-hmm. Not saying that I'm not a hurt person because I've had a lot of trauma in my past, which you'll read about in my book. However, right, for the time being, I'm talking about the hurt men, right? I come across a whole lot of them. And it's unfortunate because it's so hard to help them because they're resistant to help. They're not trying to hear what you're trying to say. They're not ready to deal with whatever it is that they have to deal with. There's so many things standing in their way that they can't overcome this hurt. So,
must be said all the way up. Taking a deep breath.
Think about it.
So I can't really say hurt men are worse, but I can see where that perspective comes from. What I will say is society trains and teaches men that we cannot properly express ourselves.
Yes.
So that's why it may seem like it come off worse. As a young man and as a young boy, once you are born, you are taught not to cry. Yes. You are taught that you can't be soft and vulnerable. You are taught that you are supposed to be hardcore and things like that. So as a man growing up, we feel like we can't properly express who we are. So even if you love somebody to a certain extent, you still got to carry yourself a little certain way because it's like, oh, he's soft. You're soft for her, or your pussy whipped, or he all these little names. So it's like, or if you're dealing with trauma, if you get caught crying, or if you get caught being down and out, it's like you're a soft man. So it's a difference. And I believe in my experiences of one, education, and two, of being a man, I think the major difference is between being a man and a woman that suffer from trauma is it is okay and acceptable for women to express their trauma. It is okay, and y'all are given many platforms and spaces to be heard and express your trauma, regardless if it's sexual abuse, if it's a bad relationship, if it's physical abuse, whatever trauma y'all have been through, women have platforms and spaces that they can express themselves.
Right.
If a man has been sexually abused, for him to come out in the open with that,
Right.
that is really, really, really hard for him to do.
Yes.
There are not platforms and too many open spaces where a straight man can come out in the public and say he had been sexually abused by someone. That's not going to go over well. People don't deal with that well.
Right.
They just don't. For a man to come out and say he's been raped or molested or something like that, that don't come over well. So you can't properly express that like a woman can. When a woman expresses that, it's two things almost. It depends on which way and platform and circumstances she's expressing her situation. So if it's like somebody who is in the limelight, people may look at it like, oh no, you're just trying to get money. But other than that, when a woman says something has been done to her, the world holds and covers her and hugs her and want to hear her pain and her story. But if a man, it don't go like that.
Right.
You get looked at as soft and weak and you broke and women like, oh, that happened to him.
Irrefutable.
Right.
I'm not going to argue with you at all on that, right? However, even without you having to be public with what has happened to you, because again, I'm not in denial in any kind of way that these hurt men are suffering from traumas in their past. And one of them, I actually asked them, did you suffer any type of abuse when you were younger? Any type of trauma? Did anything happen to you, such as molestation or any of these other things? And he was able to talk to me and tell me, yes, these things did happen. However, a lot of times because of those things that are built into society to have you be that masculine, strong person, he definitely would not have been willing to go and talk about these things out loud. And so when I asked him, did this happen? I really didn't even expect him to answer. And I said, as a matter of fact, you can tell me mind my business at any time because it's a rhetorical question. I just wanted to make a point. So he at first was like, yeah, mind your business. No problem. Then he went on to tell me the story, right? On his own, without provoking him in any kind of way. Because victims of that type of trauma want to talk about it. They have to talk about it. And my first thing was, you should be going to therapy. You should be addressing these things because this is affecting your relationships. This is affecting why you do the things you do as it pertains to women. This is affecting why you keep having these unhealthy behaviors when you're not getting what you want. Mm-hmm. So women are more inclined to go get treatment for it, while men are not because of that.
But that's what I mean by is a stigma. It's a stigma of one, how a man's supposed to be and how a man is raised and how he's looked at. So he don't really feel free and open to even express these things that he might have lived through. Just like, and people, certain subjects are really sticky to speak on because so many people get emotional and upset and take what your point of view and your understanding is wrong. So majority of the times when I speak on situations, I don't really look at it as, condemning them or condemning another person. I look at and want to dig at the core. What has happened to this person that made them do certain things? And I think sometimes if we start doing this research, then we will be more understanding why people act out the way that they do. That doesn't mean what they did wasn't wrong, but it gives more of an understanding and a reason to what we need to do going forward. Like, so when we speak on and watch the thing about R. Kelly, right? Him and his brothers all said they were touched and some things happened to them by their older sister.
Right.
Regardless on what people around the world say, that don't matter. No, that definitely matters.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
If you understand trauma, that matters.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what he may have done after that to whoever. I'm not discrediting that.
Right.
And I'm not trying to patch up that. But what I am saying is at some point in time in his life, he served and went through some trauma too, what made him act out certain ways. Everybody don't have the same mental capacity to withhold and withstand other things. Like I know some mothers, their son might get killed. Excuse this example, but I have to make it. Some mothers, they might have lost their son in the street. She might become strong enough, whereas though she started a program, she's out here trying to help other kids, and she's like, God got me and I'll be okay. Another mother's son might get shot, stabbed, and killed in the street, and it breaks her, and she becomes an alcoholic. She becomes a drug addict. She becomes deeply depressed and like going through some type of sickness. I'm using these examples because everybody can't live through and deal with the same thing mentally.
Right.
Some people, mental capacity are stronger and more put together than others. So what you might can endure, she might can't. What she might can live through, I might can't. So it's like you can't look at somebody else's situation and circumstance and be like, you should be this way. But I feel like we definitely live in a society where a lot of things is judgmental instead of looking at the core of why we are like this. But again, back to the men. As me sitting in front of 3 adult wise women, y'all know factually, there aren't many open spaces where a man that's a straight male that can go and really properly address or feel comfortable with telling you this has been done to me.
Right. I agree.
There are way more spaces that a woman can go or a homosexual man or woman can go. But a straight man, to be able to say this and that, he's not going to feel comfortable because society don't allow you to.
So what I was saying is, I'm not saying go out and tell your story in the open, but you can seek help from a mental health provider, get a trauma-informed therapist to be able to help you talk through these things, work through these things, and all this other kind of stuff. Because in the end, like we were saying off air, all of these things that occur to you in your childhood definitely shape and mold your view of the world once you get older. I'm not saying that it'll make you have sexual deviant behavior or anything like that. I don't know. Anything can happen. But what I am saying is, a lot of these things happen and you just never know how it's going to manifest later. Like I was saying offline, people who have trauma in their past, once they get to be an adult, I'm not playing that shit. I don't care if I'm at work. You're not going to treat me any kind of way because I'm not going for it.
Right.
And when everybody has that Tommy mentality, I'm going to be at work, I'm going to do what you say because you told me to do it, and I'm scared and I'm doing all of this, somebody with trauma in their past probably doesn't even feel the same way. Right. They're probably not going to behave the same way. Right. And that behavior is going to be seen as, difficult to deal with or whatever, right? So I think it's a lot that we need to consider in all facets of our lives. We need to consider it when we're talking about having children, raising families, getting into relationships with other people, and all that kind of stuff. Because again, we have that issue of self-love. I may have had traumatic experiences in my past. I don't really know how to love myself or anyone else, but I keep hopping in and out of these relationships, and they seem not to work well. So we'll take a break from that and let's decompress. So as I was saying before, we got rudely interrupted by Wesley trying to challenge Nicole. Jumping off the roof entertainment. Girl power. It's 4 of us who have come together, and we're going to bring all things entertainment to Baltimore. Our first show is going to be May 25th from 8 to 1. So make sure you get your tickets. They're on sale. They're only $15. It'll be more at the door. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have food. We're going to have fun. We're going to have an after party. We're going to dance. We're going to do all type of things this night. Specifically, we have 2 comedians. They've already made their debuts. It's not like this is going to be their first show. We have Nicole without the E. And then we also have the Barbie of comedy. Those are the two comedians on the team, and then there's another administrator. Her name is Siobhan. She couldn't make it tonight, but we're going to talk about the show. So, Nicole, can you tell us how you even got started in comedy?
Yes.
Okay, I got started 2.5 years ago.
Hold on. Is this your sexy voice? As your manager, I'm saying we don't want to hear the sexy voice. Go ahead, carry on.
Reach out, Shorty, reach out. Reach out, Shorty.
I got started 2.5 years ago, and I just wanted to bring it up, but I want to be in sexy,
Oh,
so they can hear the little raspy
okay.
tiredness in my voice, the tiredness part.
You're not hearing
So
me.
I started 2.5 years ago with I'm not sure if you guys know him, I'm sure you have, who have not in Baltimore City heard of Howard G. Kiss My Bumper, Just Kiss It. So I started with Howard G. I used to have a little talk show that I called the talk show on Facebook, on Facebook Live. Excuse me, having over at least 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people following me. Don't know him from a can of paint, probably know Teddy. That's it. And he reached out to me one day and asked me, was I interested in being a comedian? You're so funny, you're so this. I said, no, I don't, we don't call no comedian, what you talking about? So he invited me to the 5 Mile House, where he used to do the shows at on Rice's Town. And so me being proactive, when he invited me, instantly my mind like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do that, I gotta come through, I gotta. But I was coming to talk about the Nicole show, and I went straight into doing jokes on stage. So the way I started off was my cousins, a couple of my cousins, and a couple ex-good girlfriends.
Ex-good girlfriends.
Ex-good girlfriends. They were called the Lady Guards. And it's not, I don't have a thing against men. I love men. But I always feel like women together is just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always girl power. Did that like just go to your body? So anyway, I said, listen, I'm gonna go get y'all some t-shirts made, and this is how I want to do it. And all I want y'all to do is boom. So we all showed up. We all had their t-shirts. My t-shirt was different than theirs. And it was 4 or 5 of them. And I wanted them to walk me up to the stage when he called me, on the floor.
Okay.
Stage when he called me. So I said, okay. They did it, and then they stood to the side. And then I came straight through. I grabbed the mic. I was talking about the Nicole show and went into joking. And then I was ready to leave. And he stopped me and said, hold up, my partner wants to speak to you. And I said, for what? I'm tired, ready to go. I'm tired again. I'm ready to go. Because I stay tired. Because I stay tired.
I don't know what y'all do when you start touring. She already tired.
I stay tired. So anyway,
You need to buy some vitamins.
I got some natural organic from the earth. I just got them. I just started taking them, baby. Since Easter. I just started taking them, baby.
Are you still tired?
Still tired.
They don't come in a box.
Okay.
Okay. So that's probably why I'm here natural. That's probably why I'm really tired this morning. This evening. Because of this morning. Okay, so anyway, so that's how I got started. And I liked it. And I had people laughing. That you know how your family say you so funny, you so crazy, your family gonna say that.
Right.
Especially if they know your past and know your papa. So, when you standing in front of strangers and you got them, when you got them doing that, strangers, you're like, what the fuck is this? There's some new shit. So I'm like, But then when you make somebody laugh, see, I do nursing during the day. I work for the state of Maryland.
Okay.
So I take care of seniors. So my life is about making people laugh.
Right.
Personally.
Mm-hmm.
But to make people laugh that you don't know how they bought this one ticket.
Mm-hmm.
This could have been gas money, lunch money,
Anything.
cell phone money, BGE money, water bill, rent or mortgage money.
Mm-hmm.
They could have not gotten their head down and did it themselves because they just needed a laughter in their soul.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with it. So when I do my stuff, I get it from material every single day. I'm just looking at folks.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what I do. I did that, and that's where I'm at with it. And I love what I do. Love it.
Not only that, y'all, Nicole Without the E has recently did some posting, some DJing, whatever you want to call it. She'll come out to your party and she'll just jump on the mic and just get the party started. Keep it moving. So, thank you for all of that, Nicole.
Can I touch a little bit about that real quickly?
Yes, please.
So I think that was my first big host. I've always since I've been doing the comedy stuff. I will host a comedy show.
Right.
You know, my own, yours, whatever. But it's comedy. I hosted a 400 capacity to the limit at Gentleman 10. But for shout out Terry T, DJ Terry T from back in the day. And that was my first time hosting about a month ago.
Okay.
And like a party where I had to get on there. What's up, y'all motherfuckers? That was, wait a minute, what? So I like that head too.
Mm-hmm.
So now people is booking me to host event, like club events. So now I'm back in the club, only paid. I don't go out, I only go out when I'm paid.
I know that's right. But she be tired.
Because I be tired.
But let's talk about business for 1 second.
Come on.
Let's talk about business for 1 second. So, speaking of hosting and managing and doing all of these other things, someone approached my artist about doing an event. And my whole thing was, I'm going to drop the contract and I'm going to send it to you. So, I drew up a contract, general contract, right? These are our terms and our conditions. Please sign it and send it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
There was an issue. I don't do business like that. I'm not signing anything. I have people way bigger than your artists that come out and do this for free. I mean, do this without a contract. And I said, while that may be so, we want to protect our assets.
That's right.
You, sir, are a liability at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So let's sign it and move on. You want the artist or you don't, right? I run a huge festival in Baltimore. I can't think of anything that we do that we don't use a contract for.
Exactly.
Because you don't think contracts are important,
But they are.
until something happens.
Yeah.
Well, whatever that was, that's on their professional integrity. And they not running, there's certain people who run business that don't run business how it should be ran. Sure. And then when something happens, they are not prepared for, and they lose almost everything because they didn't do the proper procedures and steps that they needed to take. And to avoid that, it's like, if you don't have your contractual business set up, it's not okay. That's almost like a lot of these rap artists. You see them doing all these shows and you hear their song. A lot of them not getting the money they deserve because of their contract. It's so messed up that the money is going to somebody else.
Yeah.
And they not getting the money off of the work that they putting in. But that all goes back to knowing business, knowing about contracts, knowing how to write it up and how to read it and stuff like that. That's where that all comes in at.
Thank you for saying that, because we had we went to the Baltimore shut up, Alvin. We went to the Baltimore Media Coalition, where you have radio stations, radio shows, magazines, and things like that. We came together. One of the things that I said was, okay, so when an artist approaches you and you know they want to come on your show, they want to do all of these things, they don't even know what an electronic press kit is. They don't have any clean samples of their music. They're not prepared to pay whatever your booth rent is. You're not ready for business at all. And I blame it on the managers because one of them said, "Oh, all I come to do is rap. I don't know about any of that." And I don't know that you should be so not concerned about your business. So you should be able to know, you should know how to conduct business. I mean, at minimum, I just don't understand it. So, you know, while Nicole is there to be funny, she's there to do all of that kind of stuff, she still want to know what it is that she wants and what she expects. So this was a thing that we had to turn down because in the end, if something were to happen to my artist in your venue, we don't have a contract. So then who is responsible? Like general business things. Don't get into something and not have any type of clue. And if you don't know, find out. Ask somebody.
Right.
So that was my rant about Nicole. Make sure you get them tickets. April for May 25th, 2019 from 8 to 1. We're going to have a comedy show. We'll have some other people there. We'll have some vendors. We're going to have some sweet treats. We're going to have some euphoric aromas. We're going to have a whole lot of things going on. And then we're going to dance the night away with DJ Exotic.
How long y'all been promoting?
How long has it been? 45 days? We didn't want to do anything less than 45 days.
Right.
Because it usually takes 60-ish days to do some really good promoting. So you've seen it on my page a couple of times. So I just try to push it every day, every other day, or whatever. So we have the event right there. We have a Facebook event. We have live tickets. You can also get tickets at the door.
And we have VIP tables. We have VIP tables. And you can have your birthday party with us. Come on and party with us, y'all. It ain't nothing like a comedy show party. Because a comedy show party will have you laughing. Believe it.
All right, so back to the issue at hand. So Melvin and some other people are a little bit late, so we want to try to catch them up. So basically, the question is, are hurt men worse than women? Wesley was making the point that there aren't too many platforms in which men, straight, strong, black men, can express themselves or talk about these traumas and the impact from it. Wesley has written a book which talks about his past, his traumas, and his things like that. So what I was thinking, I saw Melvin, as a matter of fact, him and his friends were all at Deep Creek really drunk. So right. So yes, do tell Melvin. So he said what happens at Deep Creek stays at Deep Creek.
That's only in Vegas.
So what I was thinking about, my organization is specific to teenagers, and we're trying to prevent pregnancy. However, we're talking about all of those things that kind of make you have that promiscuous behavior and all that kind of stuff, some of which is that sexual abuse, that sexual assault, that teen domestic violence, things that people don't really talk about. So that's why we have those support groups. So I was talking to a therapist, and I was saying it would be a great thing to be able to take these children on a retreat, right? Not specific to their traumas and things that are going on, but to get them out there on a retreat, try to relax a little bit, have some groups, have some workshops, talk about these different things, not to hear anybody's particular story, but just to give them an outlet. And we're talking, Melvin said he did say that. We're talking males, females, and she was saying, well, I wanted to do something with adults as well. So while we can't mix the two, you definitely can't mix the two. It definitely have to be two different things. Yeah. I would really like to see a lot of Black men step up, go with us, to take care of the boys because we're going to do co-ed things. But I think that there are gender specific things that need to occur because even if I'm saying it'll probably be better received by from a man. So Wesley, get all your friends together because it's something that I really want to do. Because I really think it's important for children to have these type of outlets, like and just have other activities, horseback riding, paddleboarding, because we also know that a lot of these children don't go more than an 8-mile radius from their homes. If they live on the east, they're not going west, etc. We definitely need to change that narrative.
And college tours. What happens to the college tours?
So they do.
Very, very few. It's not like how it used to be back in the days.
Yeah. Even though I've never gone on a college tour.
Oh yeah, I have.
That wasn't a trip that we had. Did you go on a college tour in school? No. Yeah,
I think they're important though.
They are.
I think they're a very important aspect that is being left out. College tours will give you a whole new open-minded aspect of what's really out there.
You know, and I always, because I've been in school forever. Well, not really.
Not forever.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that. So I have 1 year left before I finish the coursework with my PhD, and I always said, I wish that I knew what college life was really about. Because I hear people talk about it, I see all of these pictures, and I was like,
your life.
Yeah, I was like, God damn, I missed out.
You missed out. Because you went older.
I went, not only that, I was a teen mom, so I wasn't going until I was like.
Really experienced college life.
So I didn't have any daytime classes, I don't think, ever, in any of my degrees. I didn't go to school during the day at all.
Right,
so,
working.
Exactly. So I gotta work, I gotta take care of my family. So, I don't know. So going to school at night, you don't see shit. You don't see anything.
No.
And then when you do have to go to school during the day, it's for financial aid and other people who get on your damn nerves because nobody knows what the hell they're doing. So Melvin said he thinks he's a great mentor, but his patience will make him F one of these school boys up. You got it, Melvin. You got this. So, but I really do think it's important. So we would have to do the college tour. We would just have to try to set it up and see if we can get like a campground near a college that we can go to. Like something like maybe near Ocean City or something. I don't know. Do they do them on the weekends? College tours?
Not necessarily. They have them during the weekday. So you can see.
But you as an organization, you can do it yourself. Like I know a guy from Jersey that he had 30 kids in high school with him and did a college tour. He got their parents to donate. They did like food drives. They did a bunch of drives to generate money. And he took them on like a 4-day or 5 a week. I think they've gone for like a week of a college tour. He took them to a bunch of colleges.
I think we need to do that.
I think it's great.
I think we need to. Yes, I think we need to do a lot of things that they would not be getting exposure to.
And you know what? Excuse me. And how about you think about contacting HBCUs?
Oh, of course. I went to one. God, Norfolk State. You know what the green goes.
Yes, my younger sister. That's what she graduated from.
There's a connection.
Yeah.
This is the most she's spoken all year.
Oh, yes, see? Another HBCU. Yes, Howard University, Virginia Union, Virginia State, Norfolk State, Oregon State right here locally.
Yeah.
Coppin State.
Oh, I was getting ready to say I'm waiting on it. Coppin State.
Yes,
2007 and 17.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. With honors. Okay.
With honors.
Yeah. So we don't. I mean, the stand local. Yes, that's great. I mean, but we want them to also experience things that they wouldn't generally experience.
Exactly.
So again, not only did I miss the whole stand on campus experience. To imagine being able to go out of state. I don't give a shit if I was just going to Virginia.
Right.
The point is I went out of state. I did all of these things, and I just think it would be I think it would be a very good thing. Taking these children camping.
Yes.
Black kids. I don't want to hear
the
the
Don't
cabin.
count me
bugs.
on that. Don't count on me for that one, please.
I want to be in a cabin.
You can be in a cat.
But that's the problem.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
That's
And y'all already know I'm gonna address that one. So a lot of the things that we are originally known for doing, and look back at our culture, we are the hunters. We are the people of the land. We are the ones who knew how to cultivate the land and take care of ourselves. We have been deculturalized since we were brought to America, and then now we don't even know how to do the average everyday things of survival. A lot of black people don't hunt. Oh, white people still hunt at a high level. We don't hunt.
Matter of fact, they don't want you to have. They don't want you to have a gun in your
That's
hand.
right.
You
Yes,
start
I'm saying,
teaching your kids about
we
guns
take
and all that.
everything for granted. And it's like, if something was to ever happen, God forbid it, we would not be prepared to hunt for food.
Laws.
We would not be prepared to live out here on the land and how to make a campfire. We would not be prepared to know how to make water clean. We would not be prepared to just survive off of the land outside of what had been built here. And that's a problem because we are from the land.
They are too sexy. They don't want no bugs. They want to live in a
Well, we
cabin.
gotta get out of that. You know
Well,
why? They know they go camping. They go mountain climbing.
Mhm.
They go mountain biking. We don't do the things that we're supposed to do.
Listen to
A lot of us can't even swim.
I'm not shooting the deer. I'm sorry. I will be vegan out there if we can because we're not.
You don't even know what to do to the grass to eat it.
Yeah, I don't want to touch the bone. I don't want to.
But that's what I'm saying.
I know.
Maybe you don't want to. Our men don't know how to do it.
Oh no, they know how to get some guns now.
Majority now. See, that's the problem. You laughing. They don't know how to shoot. You know why a lot of people getting shot and killed and then killing random people? Because everybody want to talk about picking up a gun, and these young men that's picking up these guns, they don't even know how to shoot, aim. They don't know how to clean the gun. They don't know how to disarm it.
Shooting scared.
They out here looking ridiculous.
Exactly.
Like it's just, man, don't get me started. Y'all know I can go too deep. I go deep in the ground with it. So it's like there's a lot of things that we laugh at that we don't even know how to do to survive. Swimming, bro. If you look at, I gotta sit up now. I'm in chill.
Go ahead.
If a popular person in Baltimore, New York, DC, wherever they live at, if a popular person have a pool party, look at the pictures. It's sad. Our people of color, we hovered around the pool.
You're not.
Nobody even in the damn pool.
You're right.
Like that's phony.
You bought that bathing suit to win the bikini contest. You're not swimming. You got so much makeup on your goddamn face.
You
don't
got
plan.
here.
Yeah, you're not planning on getting wet.
Right. But that's
Somebody watch you and
this
splash you
stuff
out
is
the state.
phony,
You're
bro.
pissed.
You had a pool party, mad to get wet.
Yes.
Yes.
The ideology is so. Y'all already know. I say this all the time. I was born in the wrong era or something, like the wrong era, the wrong planet, because the things that we make okay, I be tripping off of like, yo, that ain't cool. Like we making that okay, and that's not even okay. We don't know how to swim.
No.
We don't know how to hunt. We don't know nothing about camping and putting together a camp. We don't know nothing about fit. It's a lot of things that we don't know. The everyday survival tactics that if we went through some type of war in the land or something, or some chemical explosion, and people had to really live off the land because the houses was falling apart and the ecosystem failed, we wouldn't know what to do. We laugh at everything, but it's like, yo, we the most unprepared individuals out there.
And let me tell you something. So people always laugh at my people when they come in because I have the mental health case for at work. But one of my people said that he was preparing for the apocalypse.
I bang with him.
My man, listen, and he was dead serious. He was getting all kind of camping supplies, all kind of first aid equipment. He was stockpiling food. Now y'all laugh, but let's just take this back just a little bit. How many of us have emergency kits in our house by our door if something was to happen? Food, water, blankets, or anything. How many people have that in their car? Should they be hit with some type of natural disaster and you have to stay in your car, sitting on the highway for some time? How many of us have that?
See?
Nope.
I do in my basement. In my basement right now, I got a bin will stack canned goods. I have a bin with all waters in there, and I change them out every other couple of months. I'll drink it and then replace them. Things I don't take for granted. Let me tell you something. Something that we are missing and not paying attention to. Do we not understand how the weather and things is changing?
Right. Oh my
Whereas though it's
goodness,
supposed to be cold and it's still hot. It's supposed to be hot and it's still cold.
It's snowing and it's
Big icebergs melting in certain places of the land. The land shifting. Yo, things are happening to the planet that's not supposed to be happening, and we're not even paying attention to it because in our culture we don't pay attention to things. We just go around and laugh like, nah, bro. I'm even outside of the struggle. That's a real point. But I'm not even talking about that. Outside of the struggle, the everyday class working black mother and black father are not prepared for no type of devastation.
No. Right.
So you're right. A lot of us are living through the struggle. But I'm gonna tell you one thing that upsets me because we allow this to be forced upon us. We living in the struggle, but that's what we always make time for. Some name brand bull crap. So we don't only talk about the struggle when you'll see somebody that don't have nothing in their bank account, but they got the Louis, the Gucci, the Fendi, the Prada, they got every name brand you can name, they got it on. But it's nothing in your bank account. You don't own no land, no property. You don't own no vegetation. You don't own nothing. We got to get out of this mindset. People get upset when I talk about it, but I'm gonna keep talking about it until we get to the point where it's those. You do something different. Seriously, we don't own farmlands.
No.
Yo, it's so much that we need to wake up on. So we always be saying, the government this and white people that. Well, guess what? If they decide to shut us out and take everything from us, they can starve us out. Because we don't own farmlands and things like that. There's a very small percentage of black-owned farms. Do your own research. There's a very, very small percentage of black-owned farms. So if they want to starve us out and shut us out from the food, we done. We don't own none of the armories where all the main weaponry is stored and kept. We got our little raggedy guns on the street, but the real armory, the real militant guns, we don't own those stores. We don't own those places where they sell that. Seriously, we don't own a major source of water. We don't own a major source of land. So in every area, if they wanted to, because we thinking about so many things we're not supposed to be thinking about, and also a lot of us are living just to survive, we're not prepared if something really happens to us. So whoever that person was, you might thought it was funny, but you're really prepared for like if anything happens.
No, I mean I'm definitely on it. You know, we definitely need to get trained. That's why I also implement CPR and first aid in my training to these young kids because so my uncle said to the Q, you gonna do this. Girl, bye. Your ass get hungry enough, you gonna shoot Bambi. His mama and whole damn thing. You wanna eat? See, y'all, where we gonna get the money from what? Listen, if we start saving, listen. So right now on there.
Kill me with that. Hold on, go ahead and finish your point. What Tion talking about?
He just said where we gonna get the money from.
Money from, that's the problem. Black people, you want to know where we get the money from, Tion? Hey, Tion, black people are the number one consumers in America. We spend our money on the wrong thing. Black people are the number one consumers in America, but we are the last in producing. We're the last in land and property ownership. We are the last in business ownership. We are the last in home ownership. We are the last in everything but one thing, consuming. Consuming means buying, purchasing, getting somebody else's product. So we damn sure make enough money that we buying somebody else's stuff. We don't come together, put our resources and money together, and start our own. Even if you turn to the athletes and the guys in entertainment, they multi-millionaires now. And you know what we do with our money, Tion? We become multi-millionaires, and we spend 50 or 60 or 70 or 80% of it on jewelry, cars, and some old lavish stuff. We go to strip clubs and we throw 5, 10, 15, 20,000. We buy all this crazy stuff. As a business mind frame, do you know what I could do with the money that they be squandering? Sometimes I be wondering, like, yo, who is his accountant? Who is his investment person? Who is his circle? Who's really around him? We got this culture that we so worried about having $1 million and $2 million worth of jewelry on our body that depreciates as soon as you put it on your skin. We buy Rolexes. I like watches, cool, but as soon as what we call it, bust down. As soon as you bust the Rolex down, it depreciates because a Rolex is not supposed to be taken apart and added to. What makes the value stay with it is keeping it how you bought it. But as soon as we purchase it, we want to do all the extra stuff to it, not knowing the value comes down. So it's a lot that we'll talk about in our culture. So don't say where the money comes from, Tion, because you know what? We'll find money to go buy a Gucci belt. that was funny. That should be in the skit. She comes screaming.
So Tion is saying reparations to help fight gentrification.
All right. So I agree. But guess what? And we spoke about this before. I agree, Tion. We do deserve reparations. Our people do deserve trillions of dollars because what we've done to America and built this land up on our hands, back, knees, sweat, tears, and even the death of our people. But guess what, Tion? Because we have been deculturalized at a high level. Deculturalization means we have been stripped of our native tongue. We have been stripped of our religion. We have been stripped of education. We have been stripped of our native land and everything. If they give us reparations right now, probably 95% of it will be right back in their hands within a couple of months because we don't have the mentality to do the right thing. If you give people reparations but don't train them and teach them and get them prepared for the reparations, they're going to spend so much money on foolishness, it's going to go right back to them. Seriously. So that's my point. It's like, yes, I'm not saying we don't deserve these things. We do. We do. We deserve exactly what he just said. But if you want to be real, look at the mentality and the state of mind that we're living in right now. Be honest and don't sugarcoat it because of what other people might say or think. Look at the mind state of our people right now. If you drop a check in these people's hands without training them, without getting them prepared, that money is going right back. Look at what they're doing to the people who they give the lab paint check settlements. People be getting $500,000 from lab paint settlements, and they be broke within 2 years. Not even that long. You know why? Because they get those checks and they go ball out and try to impress people. Yo, give me a lab paint check right now. I'm flipping it. Because I've been taught and trained at this point to understand business and credit. And my mindset is there. I'm not discrediting and disrespecting nobody. I'm just being real. You can't just give people stuff without our people training our own people. And I'm not even going to say without them training us, without us training us, getting ourselves together, uplifting our people with the mindset. You can give somebody $1 million, he gonna run through it. He gonna run through it.
Definitely. So Melvin is saying our race is too divided to do that. Before we get there, we have to get us to respect us and our lives.
I keep saying that. Thank you for that comment, Melvin, because I talk about that all the time. We are the most untogether, most divided group of people in the United States. When Africans come from Africa, from Trinidad or whatever, they don't even categorize themselves like we do. They look at us differently. When I first started going to Morgan State University, and those individuals that are from Africa up there, they looked at the Black Americans with disgust. Yo, it's a lot we need to be real and discuss and talk about. They look at us like they disgusted by how we carry ourselves. They disgusted by how we raise. They discussed about a lot of things, and they keep themselves separate. Oh, I'm not Black, I'm African. I'm not Black, I'm Nigerian. I'm not Black, I'm Jamaican. I'm not Black, I'm Trinidadian. Like, we are so divided as people and don't understand you can be any other race of white. If you Russian and a Russian person comes to America, they fall under white. I'm white. You know why? Because the privileges that comes along with being white, you want those privileges. So no matter what race you are, if you can fall under white, you taking that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Give me a book. Give me a book. Now you trying to be shy, y'all.
They don't try to be shy. Still in
They can't
developmental.
see you.
Oh, you over there? Still in developmental stages. I will be releasing a book. Dear No Leader, The Evolution of an Addict's Son. I will be releasing it when everything is done. I've been writing it for a while, talking about trauma and things that people are developed from. Because people always be like, well, Wesley, how did you get to the mindset that you're at? Investment. Seriously, investment. Not only did I invest in myself, but someone else took the time to invest in me. And until we do that to our people, we will be behind. We have to stop giving up on these kids. We have to stop giving up on our women and our elderly. We need to invest in them. Point blank period. We got to invest in our people, our communities, our culture. So we always talk about gentrification, right? There's another touchy subject. We talked about gentrification. Why do we allow our communities and neighborhoods to get so ran down? Let's buy it ourselves. Stop letting them run us out of the community. Stop letting them buy up everything and pushing us out. Then they making it look pretty. Why would you walk out your own front door, you allowing it to look junky? We got to start taking honor and pride in our own communities.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So that's what I was saying. We basically need to, Miss Thomas, I'll let you know as soon as he releases that book. So Nicole without the E trying to sneak out the building, y'all. Make sure you getting those tickets. May the 25th. We're gonna have a comedy show, some dancing, some food, some drinking, some fun, just funny.
Talk like it's hot.
So, okay. All right. Thank you for coming. So what I was saying is we're going back to the money thing. So Melvin is saying that goes back to what Tion said. Where will the money come from? We consume the most, but not as a whole. So where will the money come from if our people, we come together? Melvin, basically what he was saying earlier is we have to start pooling those resources. We have to come together completely as a people. I talked to one of my friends that I worked with, and she was saying, why don't we all go and get a patch of land in Tennessee? They have these.
That's where my mother's from.
Yeah, they have a lot of different areas where you can get an abundance of land. So she's saying we can go there, we can have a house that's a school. We can have general things. We can depend on the main hospital for some things, but we have nurses in our community, we have doctors. There's no reason why we can't do it ourselves. We can learn to farm, we can do a lot of different things, pool our resources, pool our skills and stuff together. Because let me tell you something. If I have never seen a group of people with ingenuity out of this fucking world go to a jail.
Oh, yes.
Go to a jail.
They will make a speaker out of a box.
Yes. They make photo books out of fucking potato chip bags. Like how did you do that?
Right.
So I'm just saying we can take what we already know, what we can already do, and just make use of it. So back to my idea about what I was doing about this trauma camp, because I think it's very, very important. Because my group of my targeted group is children, so it's Wesley's. I would definitely like to see it happen amongst adults because adults are hurting as well, which brings me back to the question of the day: are hurt men worse than hurt women? Tion and Melvin, hurt men, are they worse than hurt women? So these things are very possible. So I'm saying if we put aside however much we spend on a meal, if we do that enough, we can sponsor 20 kids to go on this trip. There's no reason why we can't do it. And if we're talking about, just to have activities and stuff like that, we can even, approach grant makers to do it. It is possible.
Right.
So it's something that I really want to look into because we have to do things differently within our community.
Who said where the money come from again?
Tion.
He's still on it?
Yeah, he's still here.
So really quick, Tion. So Tion, right now in America, Latinos have taken a higher step with household income and land ownership over us. The way that they form their families, Latinos, everybody in their house will go find some way to make money. Regardless if they raking leaves, regardless if they shoveling snow, selling flowers, selling pop, whatever they doing, everybody leaves the house to make money, Tion. And then they come back and put money in their pot, Tion. And they will have 15 people living in one house, Tion, and they will purchase that home or work a business together. And then now, once they purchase that home, they move on to another one. They all live in that house, Tion, and build off of that. You know who else have a system, Tion, that is building communities, and that's why they so rich? The Jewish community. In the Jewish community, if a person have a job, every person that works gives 10% back into the community, and the money that they give to the community goes towards buying their hospitals, their schools, their community security, their land. They use the money that they have and they make and they keep it in. We don't have no set structure in our community, whereas though it's the money that we make, we keep it in our community. Our dollar leave our community the fastest out of every other race of people that live in America. Ours do.
You can even see it in the African culture.
We
When
can't
they
keep
get
saying
up
where
here,
this coming
They live
from.
together.
they live together.
Yep.
You'll have the brother, the sister, the wife,
It's the
the kids, and
togetherness.
they bring the parents over here. The parents stay home and take care
And
of the
nobody
children.
throwing nobody out the house until you are established enough to get on your own.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's so many things that we missing, and for one, it's ignorance. We haven't been taught, and we don't know, and we don't understand. So I don't fault my people. Who I do fault is the educated people who will not take this information back and provide it. We don't have life insurance. A lot of them don't have medical insurance because these are the things they don't understand is important until it's too late.
Yeah, they got the GoFundMe pages.
Don't make my ass thick. You know that gets under my skin.
Yeah. Mine
But-
too.
Yeah, I'm not contributing not $1. I am not. Don't even send it to me. I'm not sharing it.
So another reason, like I would like, yo, Nipsey Hussle. I never met this man, but I wish I did.
And I want to talk to you.
You
about
know
this
why?
too.
Because Nipsey Hussle taught in his music. Nipsey Hussle taught in every single interview that he's ever done. Every time that man was in front of a camera, he would say, "Black people, we need to stop fighting each other. Black people, buy land. Artists, stop allowing them to rape you for your money. Buy your own rights. Do your own stuff. Work on this. Have your business right. Buy land. Buy stores. Buy property. Stop only worrying about cars and jewelry. And if you're going to rock the jewelry, wear gold." Nipsey wore jewelry. People didn't even pay attention to how deep it was. The thicker the gold, the more the value. The heavy and the realest of the gold chose value over the diamonds. He had the real big, heavy gold ones because, yeah, you in it? I'm gonna wear the jewelry too. But mine have real value. I got the big, heavy, people not even peeping that. Like, it's people out there that collect gold and silver bars.
Right.
Like, they collect it because gold is supposed to be the reason and the resource of the wealth of America. We supposed to be living off of gold. Now we got so far from that they just printing money to keep up with it. But if you have it,
He called me the other
no,
day.
yeah.
I'm
But what
going
I'm
in my
saying
business
is, people who are educated on it, they know the importance of it.
Mr. Yassine is making a film.
Yeah, I know.
Off of that gold.
But that's what I'm saying, man. Like we gotta stop making excuses and get it popping.
You have a comment.
Yes.
Melvin says Mexicans can do that because their land is worse. So coming here living that way is still a come up to them. We are too entitled.
So why is
we
everything an excuse, yo?
we have. I think he's making a very valid point.
No. You can't really say what somebody's land is worse. Everybody's devastation is their devastation. I just came from over in Colombia. Guess what? those people over there making houses out of clay and foam and brick and stuff, and they took more pride in their community. I was over there walking through the hoods. I got the pictures of it over in Colombia. It's communities over in Colombia where they got the aluminum roofs and they got the brick and stuff. But guess what? They little block is still clean. They take pride in that and they bring the money back to the family. You can't tell somebody my devastation is worse than yours. I can show you streets in Baltimore that look like atomic bomb hit it, where this side is abandoned, this side is abandoned, it's rat infestation, it's land infestation, everybody knocking out and falling. You gonna say that ain't devastation? That's pure devastation.
But that's what I'm saying. We assume that what we have is great. And we feel like we have the good stuff, the best stuff. He said he didn't make the rules. No.
What rules? I don't understand what he's saying. Melvin making a lot of, so some things can be reasons and some things can be excuses. Excuse is also a reason, but sometimes that excuse can keep you trapped as long as you keep holding on to it. We don't make excuses about spending our last dollar on. So Melvin, that bothers me sometimes because we make excuses when it fits our circumstance, right? You feel what I'm saying? Because I taught in these schools. I've taught in these schools where, and I told y'all before, where the little boy will have RDs on his report card, but his mother still makes sure he got a lawyer and Gucci belt on. Don't keep on giving excuses. That's mindset. As long as we keep these mindsets, we're going to be like that. She got the money to buy that Gucci belt, yo.
Who's to say the shit is even real?
What, if it's real or fake, you got the money to invest in that Gucci. That's his mindset. You don't have the time and energy to invest in your son or daughter's grade, and they come home with all D's and D minuses, but you got enough time to make sure they got every Jordan, every Louis Vuitton, every Kobe Bryant on. No, it's mindset. If we change our mindset, a lot of structures and things will change about our community. That's the first place we need to start, is mindset. I'm not saying start investing right now. I'm saying we got to get the mindset right. Because if you get your mindset right, a person that makes, I know people, matter of fact, I know a woman that makes like $52,000 a year. She know how to save more money from her salary than another woman that makes over $100,000 a year. You know why? Because her mindset is different.
Right. It's not how much what you do with your money. That's
so I was saying I'm not saying it's my excuse, but I see it, so it's valid. So what's happening? 8:30. So I'm serious. So this is going to be our next thing because we do have to do things differently for these children. He said, I'm not saying it's my excuse.
All right, what do you see?
Oh, what do you see, Melvin? The Mexicans moving here. I'm assuming. Hold on. So we just have to do things differently. What Wesley said earlier about the hurt men not having a platform, I do think that is very true. So I always suggest people not live up to that stigma of making people believe that getting help for your mental health issue is harmful or is something to laugh about or anything of the such. If it is something that you're experiencing, reach out, get some help. Nobody is saying tell your story out loud because all of these things are embarrassing, whether or not you're a male, female, transgender, intersex person. All of these things can be embarrassing, but in the end, the point is that it all shapes and molds who you are as a person. So we're going to get that drive together, look at ways that we can get these children out of their current communities and into other spaces in which they can learn to be well-rounded individuals. So it's 8:31. You know that the boy who ran over the officer is on trial. It was 16 or 17-year-old.
I didn't hear about this.
So Melvin is saying the way our race mindset is, period. So he's okay. So the boys were out attempting to burglarize a home. Like, it was like last summer sometime. And the police officer, she comes up and she's trying to stop the burglary in progress or whatever she's doing. So she's telling them, giving them many commands, get out the car, or whatever. So once his homeboys jump back in the car, again, he's scared, hits the gas, he runs the lady over, runs the police officer over. She dies. Her name is Amy Caprio, I think her name is. So he has Warren Brown as a lawyer. They just started doing the testimonies and all that kind of stuff. What is so baffling to me is you have all of these grown people talking about giving this kid the death penalty. They recently passed a law that 14-year-olds can't be sentenced to life, which I agree. Because what you do with a juvenile mind, there's no way you can conceive it to be that of an adult mind. Even some adults do some shit that isn't responsible. So before I finish, Melvin is saying we can say on here what we should be. I agree, but when I leave out, I see things about our race that would make it almost impossible to do these great things as a race. The other boys were still in the house. Oh, thank you, Melvin. So he's saying the other boys were still in the house when this little guy runs over the officer. And I'm not going to minimize his behavior at all because he was driving, probably don't even have a driver's license, you scared. They already get closing arguments. They speeding through the trial. So what I was saying is people are calling for this kid to get the death penalty. I don't agree with that. He's 16. Well, he's 17 now, but he was 16 at the time. Yes, he was trying to burglarize somebody. Yes, he did run the lady over. Not negating any of that. Not even minimizing his role in what happened. However, do you know how many grown adults are getting way less for taking a pill, taking a drink, getting in their car, attempting to get to wherever they're going, and they kill someone, and they're not serving any time for it. They are getting probation for it. In the end, someone has still lost their life. Now, we're talking about a 16-year-old who runs over somebody. We're talking about grown-ass men and women who take drugs or use alcohol and you kill somebody. You want to give the kid life, but you slap the other people on the hand and give them probation. Then you might take their license. And then Melvin is saying that all of the kids, even though the rest of them were in the house, they're all charged with murder.
Well, we know that the justice system is flawed.
Very much so.
And how
My
of it?
sister. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
I just don't understand it. Like if you can give this adult, an adult knows exactly what's going on. If I pop perks or whatever, my methamphetamine that I use or whatever, that makes me just out of my fucking mind. I know how it makes me feel because I'm taking it for that reason. So I choose to get behind the wheel of a car. So, and I know people want to argue that this kid may have had intent because he was trying to get away,
right,
or whatever. But didn't she also stand in front of the car and attempt to, say pull over, stop, do whatever? I gotta go back and
research this.
Yeah, just look back at the details of the case because it did happen last year. But Tiana saying white, blonde hair, blue eye, white women, them guys going down as the victim. Hey, Miss Moore, it's been a while. So I don't know. I just really don't understand. And again, this is another area in which we as a community, we as people need to start doing things that are going to be effective in making real change. Because it will not happen just by talking about it. We really have to, and again, I'm not saying, not give him any consequence at all, because he definitely needs a consequence. Keeping him in jail for the rest of his life, no. I just really don't agree with that. So Melvin is saying that's another point to the other conversation. How can we tell them to do the right thing when the law is not built for them? Not an excuse, it's a reality. So she was shooting at the kid.
Or maybe his foot was.
He's scared to death.
Right.
Do you know how many people are accidentally shot because you scared shit?
That's why I don't like guns.
So Ms. Young is saying the video shows her slightly blocking them with her body. Again, they were saying she was standing in front of the car. Now, miss, see, I might not be the brightest person in the world, but I know that I cannot stop a car. My body is rather big, but I know that it cannot stop a car. So I'm not going to stand in front of it,
right,
trying to stop him. But that's just my little tidbit on that. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done with the justice system. Period.
Period. Point blank. Yes.
Yeah.
So really quick, I'm not really going to touch this that heavy because it's really sensitive. But what I will say is, again, we don't stick together.
We don't.
Because like we sit up here talking about the law, you go to these community meetings, there's a bunch of older black people in there or white folks. And they all are saying the police department need to do something with these damn kids. What y'all gonna do with the kids? Get them off these corners. Get these kids out the street. They scaring us. They dangerous. We can't come in and out of our own house. They ride these damn dirt bikes. They robbing us. They beating us up. So we saying law this and law that. Our own people saying do something about these damn kids. But my point is, what are we going to do to come together? You can't keep on putting the onus on the institutions, and then when they do what they do, we mad. We got to come together. That's always my answer to all of it. We got to come together and start fixing the problems in our own community. Because you can't keep on trying to put the blame on everything else if you aren't coming together as a community to fix it. Because once you call them, they dealing with it with a certain way. So we need to fix this. Because there's a major disconnect between the youth and the elderly.
Right.
A major. The elderly are saying, do something about these kids because we scared.
Listen,
the kids are saying, y'all don't have nothing for us to do out here. We bored.
To the malls anymore.
Right.
Right, but they going out, going to other people's neighborhood, doing shit and shutting down carnivals.
I know,
yes, kids go to the next neighborhood.
But that's my point. That's my whole point. So we got to step up as people and take control of our own kids and our own community. You know why? Because if they doing what they call flash mobs and going to other people's communities and doing all this dangerous stuff, who gonna get called? The first line of defense is the police. Right. And when the police come and handle it some type of way, and then they handle it, now they big wrong. Well, why are we not stepping up dealing with our own kids then? Why are we not stepping up dealing with our own community? Because we're going to be quick to call 911 when they do the flash mobs, and when they're at these malls, when they're at these stores, when they're in your community creating damage and havoc, you hitting 911. Yep. And then when 911 come and handle it their way, then what?
Some of these kids.
It can't keep
they be ready to bust your ass in the head. They ready to fight you.
We need to fix that. We need to fix that.
Let me tell you, no. Because let me tell you something. All right, so my son was out with his friends or whatever. And it was this disrespectful boy, right? And they was playing with the boy. They was taunting the boy. I said, y'all, why are y'all doing this? Give the boy back his shoe. They took his shoe from him or whatever have you. So I said, here you go. Here's your shoe or whatever, right? Then he started cursing me out. Talk about fuck you, bitch. I said, oh, wait a minute. Shit, I done helped you. I got your shoes back for you, and now you gonna curse me?
Oh, it's the victim cussing?
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, Wesley.
These kids they're disrespectful. They're violent.
You're right. So
They're
my
violent.
point is, all right. So what's the answer then? Because y'all screaming, don't get the police involved. Y'all screaming, don't get the police involved. The police do this, and do this. And then you saying the kids is this and that. What to do then?
You have a few. You have a
They are. I mean, if you get with one,
they're scary.
They are.
I'm not saying they aren't. I'm not denying that.
But
what I'm saying is we have to fix this.
How can we fix it?
But how? Like,
How
tell
can
me what to do.
How can we fix it?
We gotta come together and deal with these kids as a collective. Where are the attempts to deal with them besides multiple small organizations that are working against things in a separate corridor instead of coming together and trying to fix it as one? You can't keep on complaining on the police department, and then when the police come, we say they doing it wrong, but we not doing nothing.
I mean, I'm with you on that.
So, Melvin is saying his lawyer said he was ducking at when he pulled off, which is smart because she is shooting.
Right.
So very reasonable. So Tion went back to his previous point and said they get off most of the time. Ms. Young is saying procedure used to be that females had to wait for backup before approaching.
Right.
So not even that it's females. Because there's another video on Facebook in which these two police officers, I don't even know what the hell happened before this, but it's like 10 people, 2 police officers, people trying to get away, they're trying to apprehend people, other people are helping the other people get away. The shit is a mess. 2 officers, what are you planning on doing with just 2 of you? I don't understand. Stay your ass in your car until you get back up. I don't understand. So now you want to put assault charges on these people because they're trying to get their friends away. What did you expect to do with just 2 of you? That doesn't even make sense. You can get hurt. And if I was the union, you don't get anything for OJI because your ass shouldn't have been out there. What you doing, y'all? And not enough people. It doesn't even make sense. But so not even just females waiting for backup. I mean, just use your damn brain. Don't put yourself in no danger for no reason. So Melvin is saying it's up to us to get our own kids.
Flat out now.
And me personally, you will never see my kids on the corner. Tion is saying, where the PAL Center and YMCA? So the
YMCA is expensive as hell.
Exactly.
PAL
centers do still exist. There are very few of them. There's one in Dundalk, I know for sure. And then there's another one in Baltimore. There's one right on Halstead, actually, in Parkville. Those are the 2 that I know of.
There's one in Parkville?
Yep, right on Halstead.
Oh, I live in Parkville. I don't know nothing about this. But go ahead.
Well, your child too old, so your child.
See, there we go. My child, what?
Yeah, so, I mean, women, how old is she?
15.
I think he can still go. So Ms. Young is saying she's not afraid. It's all about the approach and your opinion. Now, Ms. Young, Miss Young baby.
You go to a basketball game, them people sit right around you like you a kid, and they talk about fuck this, suck this, all of that.
So
you turn back and look
right.
Excuse me.
She's right.
I'm an adult.
She's right.
I'm somebody's
that
parent.
is what I'm trying to tell y'all. It goes back to the mindset that as people have to work together to change this. So as a black woman, if you can sit here and say these kids act like that towards other black people, I'm not making excuses, but I'm trying to be real. How do you think they approach authority?
And
so Wesley, tell me,
we can't keep on saying, yo, the police, this and that, and we calling the police, but the people in their own community not stepping up, yo, trying to help.
So tell me in like 1 minute, what do you think you can actually do within a community? What suggestions you have to community?
What's in the community?
We live in 21205. We live downhill.
In the community?
Yes.
We need to have classes set up to first teach and train people and show them why they need to change and what has happened to them. They need exposure to what has happened, what's wrong and what's going on so they can understand what they are living, how they're living is not okay. This stuff has become normalized.
I was gonna
So
get to come to our class.
that's something we gotta work on. We gotta work on that. Maybe incentives. Maybe we go on the block and reach them where they at and start teaching them there. But we gotta start taking chances to get to these people. You know why? Because if we don't take the chance to do it, this cycle will not stop. The government can't fix this.
Melvin said you should have took the shoe back a little faster. So Ms. Young is saying he was embarrassed and unfortunately didn't know how to respond. I mean,
this for calling me a bitch.
So Ms. Young is saying, that's why I said all Black-owned nonprofit organizations need to do that roundtable and bring it together. That is too much intelligence, resources, expertise, and experience not to do it. I definitely agree. Wesley actually did take the advice. We do have meetings where we've come together, but we still need to grow much bigger and more inclusively. So Melvin is saying it has to start with the parents of their own kids.
But that's why, Melvin, that's a point. No, that's a point. That's what I'm saying. It needs to be classes. So Melvin has a good point. Your parent is your first encounter that teaches you certain things. But if the parent is just as ignorant and messed up, then the parent cannot teach you or show you nothing but the negativity. I learned my trauma and my abuse, and I got that from my mother.
Right.
My mother was the one who gave me the trauma and abuse and the neglect. My mother was the one who taught me how to live a street life. This is what I'm saying. Right. So while we're saying we got to get this stuff from the parents, my mother taught me street.
Right.
Where did I see first crack cocaine is from my mother. Where did I learn about marijuana from my mother? Yeah. She needed to be taught. So what I'm saying is we need to teach and get our own people together.
So this is the thing. Usually parental classes and all of that only comes in when the system is involved and they're trying to take the kids away or your kids are already taken and stuff like that. So that's when they're teaching you something about parenting and all those kind of things. But let me finish Melvin's statement. You can expect to bring 100 people together if 50 is respectful and 50 ain't. So it's up to us to prepare our kids to be brought together with others. I agree. Because that's where you have a lot of the issues and why we need diversion programs right now. You mix the good kids with the not so good kids, and then you just have a whole bunch of.
All my points are getting made in so many different ways.
Wesley,
I'm just saying, I'm not arguing either. I'm saying what upsets me is we constantly say the police is doing wrong. I don't want people to get upset, and if you do get upset about the statements I make, then okay. I'm not trying to offend nobody. But what I'm saying is, we always saying the police are this and that. You right. The white police officer from the history of America has traumatized our people. Nobody can take that away. We have lived through that and we still live through that. But what I'm saying is, Black people are saying the kids are too dangerous. Black people are saying you can't talk to these kids or help them or they're scared to go and interact with them. What I'm trying to tell you is, if another Black man or woman feels afraid or feel like they can't approach and connect these kids, how do you think the system feel about it? The system feel like put them away.
And I'm not in disagreement with you, but I do think that sometimes in order to be efficacious in these efforts, you do have to take them out of the environment in which they're most comfortable in. Right. Therefore, that's why these systematic things work well. You get them out those neighborhoods, and you can kind of talk to them a little bit. Right. So I'm not saying arrest them and all that other kind of stuff, but I am saying create avenues and ways in which you get them out of the environment and you have that opportunity to talk to them. But I don't necessarily agree with taking kids out the home all the time, even though sometimes that is better. Right. If you have more community support and other things that would serve as support to these children, I think it'll be helpful because a lot of times you put them in these foster homes, these group homes, and it's more fucked up than home. Right. But that's another story. Okay. So Michael was saying we have to get to the parents and deal with the family unit as a whole. A lot of these parents don't want us to say anything to them about their children, let alone say anything to them. I agree with Wesley. We have to come together on this and strategize. For example, Ms. Young is saying, I don't address them as they're niggas on the street. I address them as young men. There are times I have coffee with them in my favorite coffee spot. I asked them how their day was. I offered them resources, information. I don't have that issue. I agree. And it's all about the environment in which you're talking to them.
Exactly.
So to talk to them on North Avenue is not going to work because they're not trying to hear shit you say.
That's not always true, Lee. That's not always true. And you know why? I'm a living example of that. I do community neighborhood walks, and I'll get 2 or 3 of my homeboys, and we'll have the TNP hoodies on, and I'll go up to young kids and talk to them about that.
Outreach, and I'm not saying that it's impossible. However, if it's that you're really trying to get to somebody, sometimes you do have to pull them out that environment. But for those quick and easy things, that's something much different. That outreach, a lot of times that does work. But again, we're talking about the real education piece.
Right, and
probably have to pull them out.
what child is going into a coffee shop? Because I know my son, he ain't going to no Starbucks, no Dunkin' Donuts, no nothing.
So there, we have some good parents on here talking about they teach their children. Michael was saying, I can tell you how many times I've been cursed out by kids as young as 10 years old. Melvin is saying, I can agree with him, but it's not as easy to fix as he makes it seem. Ms. Young is saying, everyone's experience with young people is different.
Yes.
From mine, I see. Tion is saying, Jewish folk, Irish folk, even Chinese, all got help from the government, so it's no accident why our community and children are messed up. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Melvin said, I think I want to come on one day. I ain't got no book or rap, but I want to do this live. Melvin, you're welcome any Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. So our show is ending, so we can't hear Wesley's words of the day or anything like that. His encouragement, but we know that the intention is great. So this has been. Oh, Ms. Young is saying it's at the Manor Cafe on Bel Air Road. She's a New Yorker, Miss Young, so she just goes where she has to go and get back. Yep. So she understands people don't realize this city is still segregated. Very good point. So I think this song is 3 minutes, but definitely. So
I'll see y'all next week.
I might be drafted next week, Monday.
So basically, we want you to join us every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. Y'all done got Wesley all hot under the collar. Yes, we always got to give Wesley hugs. He deserves it. He's very passionate about, making change, doing things differently, coming together as community, and we can't blame him for that. So we're definitely going to try to get together, strategize. I'm going to go home. I'm going to think about it. So these are 2 things that we're going to look at doing. We're going to have a trauma camp, and definitely need some men to come out to that. And we're also going to look at ways that we can strategize, bring some things together, not be scared of these kids, and try to help our community out so that we're not dependent on systematic things like police and other things. So that's going to be it for us. Make sure you come back next week. Join us on WMSK Online Radio, the home of the Cheryl Underwood Morning Show.
Come here, Wesley. Let me give you a hug, baby. I want to give you a hug.
Pause. We off the air right now.
Yes.
Right now in Baltimore, one of the major problems that we're faced with is that little squeegee kids problem, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So y'all know where I work at.